We had a lot of large organizations on with us today. We have large organizations that spoke to us. So Tom, can you talk to this? How have we managed, and especially in your role as a solutions consultant, first introducing these processes, procedures, and the way that KeyedIn handles things? How do you manage a large business that wants to have a large scale cutover to a new platform? A business that really hasn't wanted gradual transition and iteration, but they don't want any deterioration in customer experience. And sometimes for PMOs, that customer is the other internal organizations of the company. What are some of the things that you've had or representation of experiences that we've seen in onboarding customers? And then, because you're at the front end, Colin, if you could close us off with some of the experiences having managed a consultancy practice, I think we'll close up with this question and turn it over to Tom to show a little bit of how all this works.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think part of this is if you're worried about being successful, then first it's identifying what are the parts that are working today. So if you have this customer experience that you're happy with today, in part of that process that you're following today, are there pieces that are working? I'd say our implementation team is great at being able to make a transition from a working process to a working process. That's pretty simple, right? To be able to apply something that's working today, potentially into a new system application, new way of doing things. It's really when you start to make changes along the way in conjunction with changing the platform that you're working on and trying to, impact what users are typically familiar with in the systems that they're tied to. If we're changing what they're doing along with how they're doing it together, I think that's where we start to see some of these things get to be much more disruptive, and we have to worry about how much impact we're going to have on that deterioration in customer experience that's referenced here.
Yeah, and I'd just add to that I would hope that you would get an improvement in customer experience. So let's set the bar a bit higher. So to me, this is all about engaging the local agents in the design. So if you've got a global thing, you've got to involve people because they'll have different ways of doing things. And one of the things you're going to do is probably standardize something, which typically means some people lose something that they've got, as well as maybe gaining some other things. So you've got to involve the local people hands-on in the design. You've got to involve the local management in the change itself, because guess what? If they don't get it, none of their people are going to get it, and they're not going to have that support that they need. And that means you've got to think about change management. So it is about people, it's about process and tool. Process and tool is fairly easy and logical. People isn't so much. So you probably need to think about some specific things around that. And I'll just leave you with the thought that I can't remember who told me it, but customers will never be happier than the people they deal with at the company that you work for. So if the people at the front line don't get the change and don't want to change and are feeling demoralized, guess what? Your customers aren't going to have a great experience. So you've got to really focus on those people if you want to keep that customer experience going.